Welcome to Sex in Space, the podcast where we explore sex across all of its infinite dimensions. I'm Toshi, and each week we dive into conversations with experts from all walks of life. We explore tips for leading satisfying sex lives with people like Dr. Laurie Mintz.
Instead of waiting to be horny to have sex to get horny. And if more people knew that there was a different type of desire, responsive desire, and that they could schedule sexual encounters and let the sex lead them to desire, we'd have a lot less women feeling broken.
We bring you parenting tips like how to practice consent with experts like Vanessa Hamilton.
Learning about consent starts in the playground. It's about mutually negotiating an enjoyable game to play. It's managing your disappointment when your friend says no. So they're embedded decision-making skills about consent for them to take into their intimate encounters later on.
As well as advice on how to talk with your kids about porn with Dr. Jane Charrington.
Learning how to talk with each other, with your partner, with your friends, is the most important thing that you can do. You've got to practice and get to grips with being able to have conversations about these things.
We share sex ed tips for adults too, like rethinking the concept of virginity with Morgana O'Reilly.
I heard a talk a while ago where this woman had sort of noted that a lot of her interviews with queer girls, where they acknowledge losing your virginity as the first time you have an orgasm with a partner.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's great.
Yes.
We have conversations about what it's like to be a sex worker. We've had a chat with 70-year-old OnlyFans creator Michelle Hardenbrook.
On Twitter, somebody will send me a direct message, and the only thing in the message is a picture of their erection.
Right.
And what I do with those is I try to teach some basic manners, and I write back and I say, on what planet is it appropriate to introduce yourself to a woman with a picture of your erect penis? And I never get a response.
We've spoken with Chanel Lal about the impact of colonialism on Indigenous queer cultures.
Every single Pacific Indigenous community had an Indigenous queer identity prior to colonization that was really integral to their culture. Colonialism happened, it uprooted our Indigenous queer identities and criminalized it.
And of course, we had to have a discussion with space sexologist Dr. Alex Leindecker about all things sex and space.
The highest risk right now is uncontrolled or unplanned conception occurring in a space environment. Because we know so little, we know enough to know that there's a lot of dangers involved and there's a lot of anomalies that can occur.
If you're keen to learn more, you can find us on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. Make sure to subscribe so that you never miss an episode and join us on our intergalactic journey to all things sex and space.